Hello. Hello. I think we're ready to start this live stream, the training now. Thank you for everyone who's joining. I'm just going to give a few more people a couple more minutes to come along with us. While we're waiting for them, I really enjoyed the format last time where we had questions, so you can basically interact with me and I can ask you questions during the training, and if you have any questions or anything you want to say, you can actually do that via the link below. So if you could actually just check that out now, go to the link and leave a comment as to who you are and where you are listening in from to see if it works. With this link, you've got to be careful with the upper and lower case. You've got to do it exactly as it is there. Otherwise it won't work. But it would be great to see who is here and where you're from before we get started. So time really flies very, very quickly, and this is the final training before we go to FEMS. There will actually be another training at FEMS itself that I'll be giving about communication, where we can go through a few of the practical tips and where we'll be able to meet in person. And this will be really good if you have any questions specific to actually what you're doing at the conference, what you're trying to do with your communication, whether it's social media, whether it's videos, whether it's writing. So we'll be able to do that. But this is the last digital training, so what we're going to focus on here, well, there's a few things. Last time I talked about video and I didn't quite finish off everything that I wanted to say, so I'm going to go over a few things related to video, and then we're basically going to go into kind of recaps of some of the really essential and important stuff related to preparing for the conference, so you can actually do the best preparation so that you can be as ready as you can be before going into the conference, before going to Glasgow. So let's see if we have any questions. We've got people online, ready to go. Okay, so let's go into the presentation then. Let's just see if I can get the presentation up here. All right. And you can see that the link for the questions and everything is there at the top. Feel free to ask a question at any point, and at some points during the presentation I will actually invite you to answer some of my questions. So this is the final preparation, but I'll just go through some of the things I talked about video last time so that we have a good anchor point to go from. So I talked about video because video is a really, really new, useful way of communicating science, especially at conference when there's so many visual things going on. And the reason that it's becoming more popular and it's become, so widespread is because social media platforms are using it a lot more, and because it's easier to do high quality video with very, very limited equipment. Okay, so I told you last time that I was kind of filming a lot at conferences with this. All I needed extra was a little microphone, and I've got a picture of that here, obviously not this. So this is what I use to film at conferences, and there's a few good reasons for that. Basically, it's easier for me, and it will be easier for you if you decide to do interviews. And by the way, if you're interested in doing this, please let me know either in the questions and the comments, or by emailing me. So I put my email address and my Twitter handle on the screen when I have the webcam on, so make sure you kind of get in touch with me and say, this is something I'd like to do, because what I can actually do is actually give you kind of one-to-one training when we're at the conference. And so what tends to be really good is to do interviews with keynote speakers, interviews with high-profile people, interviews with your peers, interviews with people who are doing science that you're interested in, because you'll be able to convey something interesting to your audience who will share the same interests as you. So that's a really, really good thing to do. Now, some of the things to consider, there's not so much to consider really. You have to know your questions in advance, you have to find the right person. If you have this microphone, then, and we'll have some available for you, then the sound will be good. The only thing that really can potentially ruin your interview is if the lighting is bad. And so that means, if you're in an auditorium, you think about how it tends to look. It tends to be quite dark in places. If you go onto the stage and you're facing in the wrong direction, there can be a lot of bright spotlights kind of in your face. You kind of want to basically just move around the auditorium with your cell phone, with your camera, to find a place that makes the person look good. And that basically just means that they don't have any really, really harsh shadows across their face. The sound, like I said, we cover that with a microphone. If you don't have a microphone, or you don't have access to the microphone, you can still do a good quality interview. There's just a few things that you have to consider. First off is the distance. So you can see in this picture here how close I am to the person. And if you don't have a microphone, this is about as close as you want to be as well, because you want to have the microphone on the phone as close to the person as possible. You kind of really want it to be this far away, but you won't be able to get them all in the shot length. So get as close so you get a nice picture of their face and a little bit of the background, but not so far away that you won't really be able to pick them up, or the sound that you pick up from them will be quite tinny. Another thing to consider with sound is if you have background noise, it's absolutely fine. It's kind of natural. I mean, you're always going to have background noise, especially at conferences. The thing that you should try and think about doing, though, when you're doing this, is to actually show some of the things that are going on in the background to give context to the noise. For example, now, if you're looking at me, I'm talking to the camera and there's nothing behind me, there's nothing going on. If suddenly you start now hearing conversations, if you start hearing plates crashing around, it's going to be quite strange, and you're going to think, where is he, what is he doing? If you're in the conference venue at the conference dinner and there's loads of tables behind you and there's people sat there talking, then the low rumble of the conversation, the movement of plates, the scraping of chairs is not going to be so much of a distraction, because it's obvious where that noise is coming from. People can see it. So, you don't have to eliminate noise. In fact, sometimes finding some place that is dead quiet is not only difficult, but it highlights little noises. So if you're in an auditorium and then someone slams a door, that's very distracting, and sometimes it can ruin the interview. If you're in a place with a little bit of buzz, the kind of rumble can just add a little bit of context, and it means that any kind of sudden noises are actually blended into the background. So I think they tend to work a little bit better, both from how it looks when the final product is done, but also it's easier for you to find a place like that. It's very, very hard to find a place that's completely quiet. The questions that you need to ask, it's good to think of these before, because you can actually pick some very, very broad questions. You can think of things that allow the person you're interviewing the freedom to actually go off on a tangent and explain something that they are interested in. This is good, I think, because it gives you the opportunity to get information from the person that you could not have thought about otherwise, because you give them the opportunity to say what they want, so you couldn't have kind of predicted what they're going to say. The caveat and the slight trade-off you have to think about is if you're doing a series of interviews, you're kind of filming a lot of different people, you might want to have a theme running through. So you could ask broad questions but within a theme. So questions I tend to ask are, what did you talk about? What was your presentation about? This is a good one because it's not directly asking them what they research, it's asking them what they were talking about during the conference. So it's relevant to the conference, and it's relevant to the people who went to the conference, who are interested in the conference, because what people talk about at a specific event is going to be tailored, is going to be written especially for that event. So that's a good question to ask. And also ask them what they thought of the conference, or what they enjoyed, or what was their favourite part of the conference, because this is good information. I mean, it's good information for you, it's good information for the people watching it, and it's really good for the conference organisers as well, who will kind of really be happy to promote this kind of content where people are talking positively about their conference. But that's just a couple of ideas. It really, really depends on what you're interested in. Maybe you have a burning question you just want to ask somebody, then do that on camera and record it and use it on the web, on social media, to help boost your profile, to help, you know, kind of make a connection with people in the audience that you want to connect with and have influence with. So I have a question here now, because what tends to happen, so the question is this: would you be comfortable doing this, and if not, what are your reservations when it comes to filming interviews? So the hope is now that a few of you would be interested in actually going to the conference and filming things yourself. You can be on camera if you want. You don't have to be. It's just about finding people who will be on camera and you can ask them questions. So, sorry about that. The question is there anything that's kind of you can see already now that would stop you from doing it? And what is that? Because it's basically, it's up to me now to find out people who want to do it but also have kind of reservations, might be a little bit nervous, they're unsure, and try and take those away so that you can do it. And if you're watching this afterwards, if you're watching the recording of this, if you're interested in doing it, in learning how to do it, and this is of course not being on camera yourself, although you're welcome to do it, this is being behind the camera, learning how to make videos so that you can use them to network with people, to produce content for your social media, to get an association with these high profile speakers, then ask me a question on Twitter, you can see my Twitter handle there, or send me an email and I'll get back to you, because I'll be there and I'll be able to help you. It's a really good opportunity to try this out, and this is something I'm going to be doing as well, so you could just follow me and watch me and see how it goes. So let me know what those are in the comments, or email me. While we're on the subject of filming and recording at the conference, Joe, who is responsible for the communication at the conference, is actually will be going round with a film as someone who's going to be filming, and they're going to be doing 3-minute little interviews with delegates about the conference. And so this would be really great if you see him walking around with the camera guy, if you can go and stop him and ask to go on camera, because this will be a really great opportunity to practice talking in front of the camera, and it will be really useful for FEMS to get these kind of opinions from people like you who are engaged, who are, you know, kind of learning about communication, to actually have a go at this. Of course, nothing will be live, so you get lots of chances to you know, redo things if you want. And with that, we kind of go into our next section now, which is combining video and social media. So basically, I said that a lot of the stuff that we're doing, that we're talking about now, is not going to be live, but live video is a very, very useful feature of social media at the moment. It's very, very popular. If you do a live video, I mean, you've probably seen them, you can do live video on anywhere, and I'm going to go through those in a second, but they get a lot of attention, and it's really nice for people to connect with an event that's actually going on live. And you can do this with me, you know, you could talk to me, you could film yourself, you could just film the back of a chair or a poster and chat to people, you know, on your phone, kind of answering comments and things like that. So this is another aspect of video that you might like to try, and it's something I didn't talk about last time, but I really, really wanted to. And what I did last time is I actually prepared a short video through my phone where I show you the different elements of live video and what you can do. So I would like to just show you that now. Right, so now we're in my mobile phone. I just want to talk to you about live video recording, because it's a really big opportunity. A lot of the social media platforms are promoting it so that they want to encourage their users to do more live videos, and there's a few good reasons for that. I mean, one, video, as we've kind of discussed, it attracts attention and it attracts engagement, but live video does this even more, because of course what you can do is you can actually engage and interact with someone in real time, and so the level of engagement is boosted, because you can actually get two-way engagement. With a video, normally it's just one way, or it's very, very delayed. So live video is definitely, you know, the way forward. Most of the social media platforms do it now, so you have Instagram doing it, Facebook doing it, Twitter doing it, and LinkedIn have actually got a beta version of live video. So depending on when that gets rolled out to everyone, LinkedIn are also going to be doing it too. So you've got all the different platforms with all of their different ways of communicating, all the different personalities, all the different types of information, and they're all doing live video in one way or another. So let's have a look at how that looks in reality. So here I'm on my Instagram feed, and I just click on my story there, and you can see the video that I was showing you before. If I just swipe across at the bottom, you can see I've got this live icon here. And so what this shows me then is basically who is online. So I can see that there's 6 people in my network who are online now. And then basically I just click go live, and send live in this case. And that's it, it's easy. Now, there's a few different things you can do. I mean, the first thing that I completely recommend you doing is basically following people and look for them going live to see what they do, to see what resonates with you, because then you can replicate things that are actually interesting for you and resonate with you. But people do a lot of different ways. Now, basically what I could do, I mean, you see me talking to my mobile phone camera now. I could do something like this live. I could just talk about something. Maybe I watched a session and I wanted to give a rundown of what was going on. I could do that. I could give that live. Maybe me and one of my friends or one of you guys, maybe we could just do a live video. I mean, if you wanted to do it, you didn't want to be on yourself, go and ask someone if they will help you. Come and ask me. I'll be on your live video if you want to try it out. Say, hi, I'm Ben. I'm doing this at FEMS. We just saw this great session. Do it with a friend, because it makes it a lot easier. And I was getting into live video, actually doing it with one of my colleagues made it much easier. On the one hand, you've got this accountability. So you said, oh, I'm going to do a live video with someone, you can't back out as easily. And secondly, it's just easy, you know, if there is ever any downtime in the conversation, it's easier for someone else to pick up, and when they're talking you get a chance to think about what you want to say next. So it's a little bit easier. And so I would always recommend working in pairs when you're doing this. So you can give a presentation, you could film something, you know, maybe have something written down, you could just show that. And in the live video, now I can't show you this live because I'm going to be recording the screen, so anyone who engages with me, you know, they've never agreed to kind of being published on YouTube in this way, so I can't actually go live now. But what you can do is interact with people, so you can write to them. So what some people do is they actually don't show their face, they don't talk, they just film something, they put the camera down and they point it looking in one direction, and then they just get people to interact with them. So maybe there's a FEMS logo, maybe it's a break and you're on the stage, you could just put your camera up there, switch it on, and then start typing and talking to people, saying what you're doing, where you are, and just see what questions you get, see what people engage. Of course, you can also show your face. You're just there and you're kind of quiet, but you're just looking at what comments are coming in, just responding to people. It's just like a chat room in that respect. So there's lots and lots of different ways of doing this. So this is what the Instagram live looks like. We'll go to another social media platform now, and this is what the Facebook look like. So I can put in, I can write a post, and I can click the live button instead, and there we go. Basically it comes up with my camera active. I can see who's online, so I can see there's 64 people online who could potentially see my live stream and engage with me, so that's important. Again, it's as easy as just clicking the button. Cool thing in Facebook maybe is you have a few more options for kind of you know, interactions in terms of text and engaging with people. I think on Facebook, actually, and on Instagram as well, you can actually get someone to join your live stream remotely. So if someone else is using Facebook, if someone else is using Instagram, I can invite them to the live stream, and then it'll be kind of a split screen, which is a interesting way of engaging with people, or simply getting another perspective. Maybe the person you want to speak to is just not available, or maybe they're in a different location, different room. Obviously at FEMS there's going to be lots of different rooms, so you could do something interesting with one of your colleagues there. And the same rules apply with Facebook. I mean, it's exactly the same. You can basically do whatever you want, be creative. But the cool thing is, and the thing you should take advantage of when you're live, is actually the engagement, the interaction, the fact that people will actually be there talking to you and asking you questions. And so from that perspective, you don't actually have to be too prepared. And I see this all the time, you know, these influencers and celebrities online. They have lots of really, really nice videos, lots of really, really nice curated videos, photos, everything really, really, kind of perfectly done. But then the live videos are kind of the opposite, and it has a really good effect of humanizing them. So they basically, instead of doing something really, really well produced, they just turn on the camera and just say what's up. And then everyone comes in and it's just an organic conversation. It's just basically like they are sitting in front of a room doing questions and answers. Now, obviously, if you haven't started, you might not have that many people asking questions at the beginning, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if no one turns up, no one sees it, you just kind of finish the live stream, you say don't publish, don't save it, and it's gone. And that's the benefit. You can save it if it was good, you can delete it if it was bad. You just kind of, you're guaranteed to get more engagement on the live video than you are on a static one. Okay, let's try the final one now. Okay, so now you can see we're in Twitter. Click on the tweet icon, turn the camera around, and then you can see me again, and I just swipe there at the bottom and I can go live. So basically, as soon as I click go live, then it'll be live and it'll be promoted to all my Twitter followers. You can see at the top there I've got a little space to write something, so I can write what this is about and also put my location. Location is kind of important because it means that anyone in that location is going to be very likely to see your live stream, because it's more relevant to them because you're in the same location. You've got some options at the top. The first one is the flash, you can have the light on. The second one is to change the camera. The third one is to do audio only. If I click on that, you can see that my picture disappears and you can see an audio profile of what I'm saying. This is kind of cool because if you don't want to be on camera, you can still have a live message and people can still listen and write you questions, but you don't have to be on camera. And then finally, the last option is actually send live with somebody else. So again, you can have these kind of collaborative live sessions where you're talking to someone, kind of doing an interview. So that's all of the social media platforms. As I mentioned before, LinkedIn is kind of trialing this, doing it in beta. It's not available yet, but I think it will be available to everybody very, very soon. And the same things apply with all the different social media platforms. When you're doing it live, you're trying to think about what kind of audience you're going to have and how you want to come across. And while all the platforms have slightly different personalities, if I was doing something on Instagram, maybe I would be a little bit more playful, maybe it would be a little bit less scientific, a little bit less about the scientific content, maybe it would be more about the venue or the food or the hotel or something like that. Maybe Twitter will be more about the scientific content, and maybe LinkedIn will be, something different, maybe even more about the scientific content, maybe about the sponsors that are there, maybe about, depending on who your LinkedIn network is, depending on who you want your LinkedIn network to be, you kind of customize the message and the way that you present yourself based on that. But as a general rule, what I always try and do is, I think if I'm at a conference, which of course you will be, what would I say, how would I behave at the coffee break if I met someone new? So these are the kind of audience that I have in mind, because then you know that you're keeping it professional, but you also know the limits. It's very, very easy to set limits for yourself, so you're not too stiff. So it's not like an actual presentation where you're standing up and delivering slides. It's actually a little bit more informal, but you know exactly where the limits are, because you can easily imagine yourself in the situation where you're at coffee and you're talking to someone completely new. Okay, so I hope that was useful. Sorry for the change of clothes. I made this for last week when I was wearing that shirt, so I thought it would be kind of seamless, but unfortunately it wasn't. But I hope that was useful, and I hope you kind of saw how you could possibly use the different social media platforms. One thing I said in there that hadn't actually happened yet is the LinkedIn Live, which actually is working now. So that's an option. So that gives you then the opportunity to use LinkedIn as a platform for going live, where of course the messaging and the way you talk and what you would like to say to the audience on LinkedIn is going to be slightly different, so that might give you a different option. I understand that getting into live video is possibly a bit much to ask for a lot of people, but what I want you to know is that it is incredibly powerful as a tool for you to network, to grow your authority in the field and to connect with people. So I want you to know that it's there. If you're curious and just want to talk about it or want to see it going on, then just come and find me at FEMS and we can do it. We can have a look at it together. I'll go live, I'll show you what it's like. I'll show you that it's not scary, and I'll show you that if you make any mistakes, I mean, when you go live, basically, nobody really sees it until people come in, and then you know exactly who's seeing it. So with a new account, and even with big accounts, it kind of goes one by one. You know, you might get 2 people on a live stream. The way you get lots and lots of views often is afterwards, when you've done it, and then it's kind of promoted by the platform and it gets lots and lots of views after. The thing is, after the live stream, if you're not happy with it, or you think you said something wrong or you made a mistake, you just delete and it's gone. So there's possibly a big perception this is going to be a big deal, this is going to be out there forever, this is going to be a stain on your reputation if it goes wrong, but there are lots of ways to mitigate that. You know, if hundreds of people are watching, then you know it's kind of like a standard audience at a conference, but it's more likely going to be between kind of 2 people and 10 people, and then afterwards, if you're not happy, it just disappears and goes away. But it could be a very, very good way of sharing your research. Now, for those people who are a little bit camera shy and want to take advantage of video, there are still options for you. And I made another video, it's nowhere near as long, it's only a couple of minutes long, to actually show you some apps and some ways of making videos where you don't actually have to be on camera yourself at all. Okay, so I know you might be thinking that you don't want to record videos, you're not good at video editing. There is still opportunities for you to use video in your communication around the conference and your social media. So I want to show you a couple of apps now that can really help you if you want to take advantage of the benefits that using video brings, but you don't want to be on camera, you don't want to film yourself. The first app I want to show you is called Legend, and what you can do here is you can type in a message, something that you want to animate. You can even add a picture if you want, so if you've just taken a picture of something at the conference, click on Next, and basically then you have different options of how the text is going to animate. And so this means that you can show people videos on your social media that are very, very quick and very, very easy to produce, and you have some different options for actually changing the background, changing the colours and everything like that. And then you can post it directly. You can see at the bottom there, you can post it direct to Instagram, WhatsApp, you can make it into a GIF, or you have more options. Save it directly to your video roll and basically use it however you want. So that's really useful, really interesting. The next app that I want to show you is Mojo. So this is a freemium app, so you can see maybe on some of these it has the pro version. These are something you have to pay for. I haven't paid for it yet, although I'm very close to it because I think it's really, really cool. So here what you can do is actually you can use your own photos and or videos to make really compelling, really interesting short videos. Now they're designed for this kind of portrait video mode, which basically works in any social media platform right now, but they're especially good obviously for the Instagram stories, for the Facebook stories, and for any story platforms like YouTube or anything like that. So I can basically go to my camera roll, I can find some interesting videos that I have, or photos, and you can basically see it just adds them in. And so I can edit any of this, I can add some text to it, add some animated text. Again, you can see there's ones that we can use for free, some of them aren't free. Can change the caption to the image. Again, some of these are free, some of them are not. Something called dynamic, some stickers, some swipe icons, some logos, social media, anything, basically. There's lots and lots of different opportunities. Again, some of them are free, some of them are not. And yeah, you can change mute, can you change the format? So you can change the format in the Pro version, you can add music, you can change things like the background colour. You've selected a layout before, but you can always change that as well, so I can kind of go there, edit the photo slightly to make sure that it fits in well. And yeah, that's it. That's a really, really effective way to create videos, and you can be exactly as creative as you want to be there. Okay, so I hope that was also useful. I mean, that could be a nice way to get into using video without, being on camera. And the reason is, of course, because video is so popular. It's just so attention grabbing. I mean, you saw some of the way they actually looked. If that appears in your timeline, whether it be in Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, it's going to actually attract attention. So that's an interesting kind of low pressure way to do it. Now, I had a couple of questions I want to address. I've got one more demonstration like that for you, which is only a couple of minutes ago, but I've got a couple of questions that I would like to address first. So we have this one. So will we, the FEMS superstars, have time at FEMS to practice together all this we've been learning about video making? Because I don't feel confident doing it with some unknown researcher. The answer to that question is yes. There's no allotted time during the FEMS conference to do it, but at some point, basically we'll schedule time for, if it's just you that wants to do it, we'll do it together. If there's a group, then we'll schedule time to do it, and we can do that through Twitter. So the thing to do is, I'm going to take that FISA as kind of you registering your interest, and so we can discuss it. And basically, there are lots of different ways to do this. It might just be that you've learnt some of the theoretical stuff now through the presentations. So to do the practical stuff, what you can do is just simply follow me while I'm doing it, and then from that point we can go anywhere. We can you can come along. You can maybe hold the camera while I ask the questions, and if you get comfortable at each stage, then you can eventually go and do it yourself, or work in a pair with someone else. So yes, if you are interested, we will find time to do this at the conference that fits in around what I'm doing, that fits in around what you want to see. So this is kind of the point of this training as well, so that we can actually do the practical things for people who want, because it's going to benefit you. That's the point of the training, but also it will benefit FEMS, because we'll be able to produce some really nice content for them. And we have okay, and Rachel has just asked as well if we can do that. It's a great idea. Would love to practice. Well, great, Rachel. We'll do that. That's exactly what we do. This is exactly what I kind of want to hear. And if anybody else is interested, then where to contact me to say, so that we can arrange this. The best place on Twitter now. You've all got Twitter accounts, but if you want to email me, we'll do this, and we'll arrange a little session where we go and we talk about stuff, we practice, and then we can all go around together and do the filming. We can start when I do it, and then we can gradually scale up from there. So thank you. We have another question here. Yeah, great that Twitter allows live tweeting. Where do you see the live tweets from other people? Basically, they appear in the Twitter timeline, so it'll appear kind of like a tweet, but because Twitter loves the live tweeting, the live streaming, they'll actually promote it via notifications to all of your followers as well. So there'll basically be a little notification popping up either in the Twitter app, or if you allow notifications on your phone, it'll actually appear on the front of your phone, just saying, Sarah is now live, and so then they have the opportunity to go and see it. Once it's done, and if you choose to, you can then publish it afterwards, and so that more people can see it just as a normal video. There's also an app called Periscope, which is essentially the Twitter live feature. So, but you can. It used to be a completely distinct app, but now it's completely integrated into Twitter, while at the same time having the separate app. I don't use it on its own. but there are some people who kind of use Periscope because they want to see live streams from different places around the world. So that might be a place where you can also see people, and people will find out that you are live. But as someone who's presenting live, you get all this information live as well, so you find out who is watching, and so you know kind of how many numbers of people are there, so you can be comfortable, you can gauge the audience number. You're not just kind of going blind. Right, so now we have one more. So now we're talking about live video, we're talking about video on camera. There's another very cool app which I like, because when you do video on social media and you send it out there, a lot of the times the video will be published without sound, so people will be going through and they don't have the headphones in, so they actually won't be able to hear what you're doing. Here is a really cool app that actually allows you to put text in, and I've seen it in people using it in Instagram, and it's very, very good. Another app that I would like to show you is Clip-O-Matic. So I click on that there, and basically this is when you want to talk, you want to produce a video, but you know that most people who are going to be watching it are actually going to be listening or watching it with the sound off, so they're not actually going to be able to tell what you're saying. So this is great for that. You can record in a full portrait, or you can actually do a square video as well, depending on what you want. But this is going to add subtitles. It's going to add subtitles in real time. The one thing to note is that you can't record for more than a minute. So let's just go into that now and see what happens. There's also different styles. Maybe I should show you those first. So you can have text up there, text down at the bottom, text at the top, speech bubbles. But looking at these, I think that my favourite one is this one. So let's go for it. Hello, my name is Ben Liberton. I'm here at the FEMS conference after having listened to an excellent morning of talks. We're just about to go and have lunch. So you can see there was a mistake. FEMS conference. Okay. But the cool thing is, if I just click on the text, you can see that I can go in and I can alter that. So is there anything else? Hello, my name is Ben and I'm here at the FEMS concert after having listened to an excellent morning of talks. We're just about to go and have lunch. So, misunderstood my accent there. We're just about to go and have lunch. Okay, let's have a look now. Is that okay? Alright, so now I can save that, download it, and then I can basically upload that anywhere, and I'm safe in the knowledge that people who don't have sound are actually going to be able to understand what I'm saying. Okay, just another example of a cool tool, and that's something that I use relatively often as well. Now, that's all that I wanted to say about the video. Thank you for your comments and your questions. Anyone else who has any questions or comments and wants to get into this at the conference, just let me know via email or via Twitter here. Now I really want to go into the preparation for the conference, and Joe from FEMS really gave me this amazing tip to show you, and that is Susanna Harris, who is a microbiologist. She's very prolific on Instagram and on Twitter. Very much recommend that you follow her because, well, she's good, but she's also just been to the ASM conference, and so if you look back at what she's been doing, how she's been using social media, it could be a very good source of inspiration. But what I want to show you here is what she posted on Instagram about preparation for the conference, which I think is really great. So check out the program ahead of time, because you won't be able to attend every single thing. That is definitely true at FEMS. And then have your way of kind of noting what you want to see and what you would like to see if you can. That's really good. I'm going to go through a little bit of the kind of how to prepare and the schedule for the conference later on. But there's also going to be an app So this can help you a lot, kind of organise your time, organise yourself. The app is also quite interactive, so there's going to be questions and surveys for some of the features, some of the sessions. That's going to be a really good thing to download and try. Okay, so Susanna, she talks a lot about microbiology. She's a microbiologist, but she also talks a lot about mental health. So she talks about the two of them, which I think is a really important subject. It's an incredibly great combination, because we need more of that in all the facets of science, but especially microbiology. So especially if you're a teen introvert, it's okay to allow yourself recharge time. You're better off really enjoying engaging a handful of the things and getting totally worn out and ending up with no takeaway. So true, such good advice. There's a lot of pressure when you go to a conference, especially one of the biggest FEMS, that you should just do everything, take advantage of everything that's there. But of course the risk is that if you do that and you wear yourself out, you actually won't get anything away. So make sure you do give yourself a chance to recharge. It's okay to do that. In fact, it's more than okay, it's completely recommended. So yeah, that's a great tip. Try set aside time on the end of your travels. I mean, most of you will have booked your tickets and stuff now, but make sure that you have time to kind of reset and reboot when you get back to your home lab. Otherwise you'll be tired for the entire week. Make new friends. I mean, this is something that I would never have thought to say, but it's such a good advice. I mean, you're going there, we've got the FEMS Superstars group now, we're kind of all relatively like-minded, we're studying microbiology, we're interested in communication, we're in similar stage of our career. There's a huge potential for us to make real friends at an event like this, especially because we've had some kind of connection before. And people are always looking for that, so think about it as an opportunity to make new friends, not just an opportunity to find people you could collaborate with or help do experiments for your paper. It's also a social thing. Collaborations are great, but sometimes they don't happen straight away, they can come later, and friendships are really, really very, very valuable. Asking about dress, what do you wear? This can be different at different conferences, so definitely ask people who are your peers. Okay, I mean, FEMS is such a huge conference, so people are going to be dressed in all different ways. I've been to conferences before, kind of like medical conferences where lots of people wear suits and ties. Been to conferences in very, very warm places where everyone is wearing flip-flops and sandals. FEMS is huge, and people are going to be wearing everything. So there's going to be a whole combination of things. So that then, it's good in some ways because you have the flexibility, but it's not good in other ways because you don't necessarily know the right professional uniform that you think you should wear. So ask someone who you respect. The good thing about social media now is you can find people exactly like Susanna and you can ask them directly. So Susanna is coming up with this advice, you can ask her, say, what should I wear? What would you wear? What is the best thing to wear? Personally speaking, I mean, when I was attending conferences as an academic, I think I was a lot more dressed down. I would kind of wear a shirt sometimes, maybe a t-shirt. Now I'm going as a professional, as a communicator, I wear a shirt and a blazer. That's relatively smart for some people. It's not smart for others. It's just a way that I feel comfortable. I think it represents me well and I feel comfortable wearing it. And I think that is a good way to think about it. It represents you well and you feel comfortable. You should feel comfortable at the conference, right? Make business cards. You can probably use your institutions online. It's easy, and other people will appreciate it. You've got time to make business cards now. You can go to your university's print shop and see if they have any. I mean, they normally have templates, so you just give them your name and your email address. If they don't let you have them, let me see if I can find this website that I really like. you're meeting so many different people. Oh, the audio was not working there. Well, I'm sorry the audio wasn't working. Hopefully you could see. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've got some questions there. Hopefully you could have seen the text on the screen. But basically, this last point is about tying a knot in your lanyard when you're at the conference, that you can actually see your names, how you can read it properly, which is a really, really brilliant idea. Hopefully you could read what was happening on screen while my microphone wasn't working. The only thing that I added there really was that thing about the business cards, which Susanna says, make a business card, people will appreciate it. What I actually said was I prefer to use it on my phone. So I kind of have this on my phone where I actually have the QR codes to scan, because I don't like giving out business cards when you actually give, or there's no reason for someone to contact you, or there's no way of following up. I always want to have the information from the other person, so I'm responsible for actually emailing them. And if they don't give you a business card, then you're not able to do that. Maybe they don't have business cards. If you do something like this, it gives you an immediate connection on a social media platform that you use, which is, good. Okay, again, apologies for the loss of sound. Hopefully it's okay now. Let me just go back into the comments to check. It's come back on. Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. Thank you guys. That's very, very helpful. Right. So is there anything that you would add? These are some points that I think are really, really good. We're going to go through a little bit of preparation now, but is there anything that you would add yourself? Let me know in the comments. Now, I was planning to go through some of the other things that I've already covered in the last few videos. I thought it'd be good to do a recap, but we're running a little bit low on time, so I won't do that. And of course the content is already there in the other videos, so I think it would be worthwhile going through some of them. I mean, you don't have to watch them all the way through, but go to the sections that you could be that could be useful. I think the first video about Twitter is going to be especially useful. There's lots of good information in there and that'll help you prepare for the conference. What I do want to go through now is like some kind of the research and preparation you could actually do for the conference. So let's go over to the conference website, where you can see the program. And first off, when you look at the program, you're kind of aware of how extensive and how large this conference is, so the need for research is kind of important. So what can we do from a social media perspective? Well, we can look at the things that interest us, and we can look at who the keynote speakers are. Now, this basically gives us all the information that we need to use on social media. So the first speaker in this list was Uta Running. So we see, to start with, she is at Karolinska Institute. She's on FEMS, she's a FEMS expert. Biomes Microbiomes Community. There's no Twitter page for her. That's normally a bad sign. So if you're doing a lot and you're in a rush and you don't see Twitter on the first page of Google for this person, you can normally assume they're not on there. And that's going to happen a lot, right? So you're going to have a lot of people who are not on Twitter, but there are still things you can do and still things that might be interesting. Karolinska Institute is definitely on Twitter. So when Uta Running is talking, if you want to tag someone who can help you promote what you're saying, what she's saying, Karolinska Institute would be a good one. She's also going to have published papers. So, if you find any of her recent papers, you can possibly see what she's been talking about. Selected publications. So where is this published here? Okay. We can dig a little bit deeper. We can find this publication. Microbial cell factories. is a journal. Okay, so we'll see if that comes up now. It's part of BMC, okay. So now we've got a few bits of information here. You can see at the top it says BMC, so that's a big publishing company, part of Springer Nature. We know the name of the journal. We also have a lot of other names here, okay. So you can see how quickly this research will kind of spiral. What you can do, you can look up, maybe you can't see the top of the browser there. Can you see this now? So you can see BMC, microbial cell factors. So we can just go over to Twitter and we can just, kind of try and find. Oh, my microphone went off again. Oh dear. Okay. Hopefully the sound, I'm really sorry about the sound issues we're having here. But just to recap quickly what I was saying. Basically, I found this person because they are a speaker in the program. And what I want to do is basically follow them and maybe try and engage with them a little bit before the conference. So I'm following them, and I clicked here to enable notifications on my phone. What this will do is give me a notification whenever this person tweets. So that gives me an opportunity to react with them in real time. The benefit is, they tweet something, they say something, I'm going to FEMS, I've just published a paper, I've just done this. You get the notification in real time, which means that they are you know that they're on their phone and they've just tweeted, which is of course the best time to engage with somebody. It's like having a normal conversation. As soon as someone says something, it's the time to respond. If you do it, 10 hours later, it's fine, but it's not as good, it's not as interactive. We can also go back a little bit with Newt. We see he's got his own lab website. That's a useful thing to know, that's a useful link to have, because if you're talking about him, you might want to tweet out this link, and I'm sure he will appreciate you doing that as well. You can also see that other people in his lab. Great, so you've got lots of names of people who might be on Twitter, and you've also got the publications, which is also very useful. So, you can either save these somewhere, or you can actually use this website as a source of links and material that you might want to share during the conference when everything is live and going on. So basically, okay, I'm just looking at the questions here. Yeah, comments about the sound. Very, very sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting, but if there's something that you feel like you missed, I was normally going through slides. I try to explain the stuff that I felt like I missed. If there's something that's really distracting that you didn't get, then please send me a message on Twitter and email me. Right, so it's time to wrap up here. Basically, this is the last session that we are going to have before we see each other at the conference, which is crazy. It's gone very, very fast indeed. Now, I have some exercises here. They're not really that specific. They're kind of to do your research, so what we've just done now. Go through as many as you think is relevant, as many are important to you. Find the people who are active on social media and kind of make a note of them somewhere you have easy access. Practice and plan. So practice basically means think about what you want to try and do at the conference. If you want to think about videos and you kind of want to come along and want to practice that with me, take out your phone and find the video app and start filming little things and see what it looks like. Put yourself on camera, take a selfie, film yourself talking and delete it straight away if you have to, but just go through the practice. If you want to write a write-up for the conference, then practice doing that. Think about a seminar that you went to or an event you recently went to and write about it, and go through the video that I did last time and the time before that about how to write up a conference. And then the final thing is plan. Plan as much as you can. There's going to be certain aspects of this, of course, that are spontaneous that you can't really plan for, but plan as much as you can so that you're not surprised by anything, so that you have all the information that you need to hand when events happen. When someone's speaking, it's going to be much easier to think, oh, it'd be really nice to tweet and engage this person. It's going to be much easier if you've kind of thought about that, planned ahead, and kind of have the information and you've thought about what you want to tweet and how you want to tweet, or how you're going to write up, when you're going to do it. If you've got social events, when you're going to write, when you're going to film, when you're going to do editing. And that's it. The thing I would really love you to do is really think about this as a very, very big opportunity to engage with communication, to strengthen your communication skills and try new things. I'm going to be there the whole time, and I'm basically at your disposal. I'm going to be doing communication work at the conference. If you're interested in seeing how that goes, then come and talk to me, shadow me. I'm sure Joe will say the exact same thing. So contact the people at FEMS and see what's going on and learn stuff and see if you can actually help, see if you can actually try things, because what you'll be able to do if you do that is afterwards you'll be able to add it to your CV and your portfolio, and you'll be able to build on it and get better and better until communication is something that you can either say, this is me, this is what I do, I'm a communicator, I want to do it full time, or it's just another skill that you have in your CV that will help make you more attractive when you're looking for jobs and when you're applying for research money or when you're submitting your paper. So with that in mind, I'm going to go one last time to the questions. I really hope that my microphone is still working, and I'm going to check to see if we have any more questions. No, we don't. In that case then, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening. Please get in touch, and failing that, I will see you in Glasgow. It's going to be coming soon, and I'm very excited about it. So, bye for now.